Well, hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode with Brittany Bundles. You are listening to the Brittany Bundles podcast, where we empower people through entrepreneurship. And before we get started with today's episode, I do want to say I apologize for uploading the episode today. I believe it's going to be uploaded on Saturday or Sunday instead of our normal Thursday. And the reason is I've just been really busy with school and planning content, like creating a lot of content ideas, jotting them down so that I can post the most videos that I have done in a very long time, possibly ever this month. That's my goal. So be sure to stay tuned and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Currently, we're doing all of the podcast episodes on YouTube directly through my Brittany Bundles YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, turn your post notifications on. And then when I find another platform that I want to use for podcasting, I'll let you all know that. But today I'm going to be talking about the 8 most common entrepreneur challenges. I thought this would be a good topic because a lot of times we talk about obstacles in entrepreneurship. And so I stumbled across this article, and the website is practice.do. And this article was created on April 24th, 2023. And it's a blog for professional development on the Practice website. So if you are interested, you can go to practice.do and you can read this entire article for yourself. But I'm going to be scrolling down this article and just pointing out some of the challenges that they have listed for entrepreneurs. And I want you to let me know in the comments below if any of these challenges are challenges that you faced or challenges that you're facing. And if you face them, what are some of the ways that you resolve the obstacles? How are you able to navigate? That's going to really help other entrepreneurs tuning into this podcast as well. Part of this podcast, one of the biggest reasons of having this podcast is to help other entrepreneurs, empower people through entrepreneurship. That's my whole slogan with this. So be sure to leave a comment to help others that are tuning in. I'm going to give you a moment to share the podcast. Sharing really helps to grow the podcast and also helps to grow awareness and provide assistance and help to other entrepreneurs and just entrepreneurship in total. It just helps to spread the awareness and provide more tips to the entrepreneurial community. So if you can, go ahead and share it. I'll give you a moment to do that, and I'll be right back in just a moment. All right, thank you so much for sharing, and we're back. So the first challenge that is listed is finding the right idea. So it reads, before your business can take off, you need to have a viable, profitable business plan. This starts with your idea. Does your business offer something of value? Is there a target market for your audience? Many beginners struggle with creating a business that can be sustained years down the line. Focus on the product or service you'll offer and how it can solve a problem for your target audience. So I do agree that the first obstacle that a lot of people run into when thinking about starting a business, besides procrastination, is coming up with an idea. And I guess you can compare procrastination and an idea together, because sometimes you can keep thinking about that idea so long that it turns into a problem with procrastination. And then other times you just really don't know what idea out of all of your ideas you want to start with. And so finding something that you're passionate about has always been my go-to. Like, what do you enjoy doing right now in this season of your life? What have you always enjoyed doing? I find that when you find something that you're passionate about, it gives you more ammo to continue to go even when you're not seeing the success that you've had hoped to see. And that's important because in entrepreneurship, one thing that I've learned is that nothing is guaranteed and nothing stays the same all the time in business. Even if you go work for a corporation, a lot of times corporations will tell you, hey, one thing that is constant is change. One thing that we can guarantee is change. And so when you are coming from a 9-to-5 work environment and transitioning into entrepreneurship, even if you're still working your 9-to-5, sometimes it can be hard to get outside of that mind frame of, okay, I know what to expect. I'm going to go in and do my job and I'm going to get this much every single week or every 2 weeks or semi-monthly or however you are paid with your 9-to-5 employer. Because with entrepreneurship, you can do the work, you can plant the seeds and not receive the harvest or your income for some time to come. And so there are going to be some days you're going to have to put in effort without immediate pay. So it's going to be a lot of delayed gratification for a lot of business owners throughout business. And so getting back to the point, finding the right idea is so essential. Find something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing, and then also something that can help other people, right? So when I first decided to start my hair business, I was really, really like super passionate about hair extensions. I was in my 20s, and kind of doing my hair was new to me in a sense, because I now had the freedom to do exactly what I wanted to do with my hair. In high school, my mom allowed me to experiment with some different styles and do different hairstyles, and go to the salon and try different, I guess different styles at the end of the day. But when I got on my own and I really had the ability to wear 30 inches of hair if I wanted to, and 20 inches and pink hair and red hair, I just went wild. I enjoyed it so much. And I wanted to be able to find good quality. And I was passionate about changing my hair very frequently and being able to find new styles and all of that. And so it really was a great field for me to get into, because it's something I enjoy doing. And it was also solving a problem with providing accessible quality hair extensions to others that had that same type of passion that I did with hair. So find something that you're interested in. As I got older, I'm still passionate about hair, but it's not in the same aspect. So I don't wear extensions like I used to wear extensions, but I'm still passionate about hair. I've switched over, to locks, and or I can say transition to locks, and I've been enjoying wearing locks, but still, it's still hair. Like I still enjoy the creativity and the versatility that hair creation allots. And so finding something that you're interested in, finding an area to get into, finding ways to help people solve problems is one of the first steps. The next point that they list is lack of funding. That's another obstacle or challenge. And it reads, as a business owner, you take on the financial responsibility needed to successfully run your business. Small business owners, often being as sole entrepreneurs who handle all of the work themselves and don't have a need to hire employees or outsource the work, at least not yet. If your goals involve hiring a team or expanding offices and locations, you'll need some way to secure funding in order to grow. So lack of funding, that is an obstacle for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially when I wanted to, I can relate to this when I wanted to open up my own salon. Just thinking about how much it was going to cost, and if I wanted to purchase a building, rent a building, what kind of equipment was I going to purchase, what was my budget for the entire venture. And I remember thinking like, man, I just want to take out a business loan. And I'm thankful that I didn't, seeing how everything panned out and what I decided to do going forward. If you don't know what I'm referring to, I have tons of videos on my business playlist right here on this channel, outlining that salon experience for me. So check those out if you're interested. But lack of funding is something that discourages a lot of entrepreneurs, and it's an obstacle. The best point of advice that I can give you as far as funding for your business is to make sure that you are practicing the right behaviors before, like right now. If you're starting your business now, start practicing the right financial responsibility now. Implement those actions now. If you're thinking about starting it next year, start now. Start not your business, but start the financial implications for financial success now. So working as a loan officer, I would do write up different loans for different things. And when people would want to take out like a signature loan for different business expenses, and sometimes they didn't want to do a business loan for various reasons. They wanted to take out a personal loan with a higher interest rate. And so they would do that, and we would want to take out a personal loan for business purposes. And one thing that we would do is we would have like a joint application set up. So they would apply for their business as a joint, and they would be the primary. And so it does matter in a lot of circumstances what type of credit you have, especially if you're a startup business. I know there's a lot of people out there that'll say, hey, it doesn't matter what your personal credit looks like, just get some business credit. But I am telling you, especially as a startup, it is important to make sure that you have a good personal credit as well. If you're looking for investors, a lot of times they'll look at your personal credit. If you're going for a loan, a lot of times they'll pull your personal credit, even if it's for a business expense. It's just better to have good personal credit. So if you are looking at funding, I would research lending options for startup businesses. I would work on getting my credit in order. I do have years of experience in the financial industry. So if you are interested in getting your credit together, you can always follow me on my business page on Instagram at BCH_credit repairs. And I post some tips there. And I also have a newsletter if you want to have tips delivered to your inbox. And then also look into different business options that don't require funding necessarily. Like you can get started with drop shipping. You can drop ship different services. You can do reselling. You can create an e-commerce store online where you're purchasing products in bulk at a discounted rate and reselling them. So like I said, reselling. I mean, there's just so many different ways to get creative. You can offer a service where you're doing like consulting, where you're doing different speaking engagements, where you're doing different type of services, maybe alterations or whatever you're good at. You can offer different services, creating thumbnails for YouTubers, editing. You can create those services and get started with your business that way. So you don't necessarily have to start at your end goal for your business to be successful. What I mean by that is if you plan on having a salon 10 years down the line. If your end goal is having a salon, you don't have to start with opening up the salon. You can start with selling hair extensions. You can start with offering mobile salon services. Just make sure it's legal in your state. Make sure you have all of the required licensing, but you can get started with what you have. That's something my mom has always taught me, what you can do with what you have. So if you don't have the financial capital to open a salon, don't start there, but still get in that same industry, still build up clients, still build up a brand and reputation for yourself. So it makes it easier when you do have the capital, either by savings or by way of loan, to start your salon. And make a plan so that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket. And if the salon doesn't work out, you're not in a position where you're paying back a lot of the debt that you took out. You're still able to continue moving forward and pivot your business to something that you enjoy doing at that time. Another obstacle that is listed is hiring and managing employees. This is an obstacle as well. I went over my experience in the last podcast episode with hiring. And I also have some videos in my business playlist. So I'm not going to elaborate too much on that point. Another point that they mention is time management. So I agree with this. Being able to allot certain time to your business, to your job if you're still working in a job, and also to your personal life, like your children, your spouse, family events, friends, and things like that is a real challenge. It's important to have good planning when you're getting into business, figuring out how much you're going to spend, how much time you're going to spend on your business per day, and be very intentional about what you do when you wake up. So everything you do from the time that you have allotted for your business needs to be something that's productively moving your business toward the goal that you have set for it. So that doesn't mean that, if you're choosing to work 5 hours today for your business, that an hour of that is consumed on Facebook, just scrolling down and laughing at different posts, and another hour is consumed at going on TikTok and making one TikTok and then being done, and then scrolling down and looking at everyone else for another hour. You have to really be disciplined, and you have to know what you came to do and do that for the day, because once the 5 hours is up, it's not fair if you had, time planned with your spouse or your children for you to be dipping into that time so that you can fulfill your business obligations when you should have used the business time allotted to fulfill those so that you would have the time with your family and friends. It's important that you structure everything so that you don't miss out on the moments with your family. My whole purpose of wanting to be the best that I can be, one of my biggest purposes besides pleasing God, is because of my family, my children. And so if I get all this success and money and fulfillment, but my children don't get to see me, that's not successful for me. That's a deal breaker. So I have to make sure that I'm present in their lives, and I'm not willing to sacrifice my presence to build my business. But I do know that I want to give them a better future. And so I do know that I need to still build my business. But how am I going to do that? I do that by allotting certain times. So there are certain times that I don't do business at all. I've gotten a lot better with this the longer I've stayed in business, because initially when I got in business, I was not as strategic and I wasn't as intentional to be able to stick to a schedule, or I should say disciplined to stick to a schedule that I had allotted for my business. And I would do different things. Like even when I was with my kids, I would answer different emails when I didn't have to. I shouldn't have done that. I would stay up really, really late. And so the next day I would be really, really tired. And so I wasn't the best version of myself. And so it's really important just to take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your business, but you have to allot certain times and days for certain things, right? Like you want to make sure you have business hours set in stone. Yeah, you may have to reply to an email here and there, but I don't subscribe to the idea of working all the time. It's just not healthy in my opinion. It's great to have a perfect work-life balance. as perfect as it can be, and it's going to look different for everyone. But one thing that you don't want to, just take it from me, sacrifice is time with your children, because they grow so fast, and that's time that you can't get back. You can always start your business, you can always work harder at your business, but you can't get back missed time, lost time. And I'm not saying procrastinate on your business, because you can always start, but I'm saying you do want to make sure that you have the right time management. Marketing and sales, that's another obstacle that was listed. So as with every aspect of your business, you're now in charge of promoting and marketing. You need to get the word out about your services or products so customers know what you can offer and how to find you. A lot of time and strategy go into developing a successful marketing plan. For people who aren't experienced in marketing or sales, this aspect of being an entrepreneur can feel daunting and intimidating. That is very true. Marketing, I have a whole marketing series on my YouTube channel, and it's going to be linked below this podcast episode. So I'm not going to get into detail with the marketing, but that is an obstacle. I do have some solutions. Be sure to check out the marketing videos in my marketing playlist after this video. The next one is adapting to change. So it says part of the growth challenges as a business owner is the ability to adapt to changes within your industry or field. These changes can come in a form of a shift in the market conditions, technological advancements, and customer needs. Entrepreneurs need to be mindful of industry trends and anticipate the change in order to remain competitive. So yes, like I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, the only thing that's really constant in business is change. You need to be able to adapt. You need to be able to understand the market. If something is going not favorable with your business, figuring out what you can do ahead of time is going to be wise. That's one of the reasons why I talk about having multiple streams of income, because if something goes wrong with your business, even out of the fault of your own, like it could just be the economy, right? Like if something goes wrong, or it could be like shipping requirements or regulations where you're not able to get certain items shipped into the US, maybe we go on lockdown, or just unforeseen events, you still want to be able to generate money. So have multiple streams, think in advance, keep your credit good. That way, if you do have an idea, if you do want to invest in something else, you can do so. You have the options to either go into your savings. You have the option to start another business and generate money from that. You have an option to take out a loan if you need to. So keep your options open and be adaptable to change. The last point that they go over is managing finance. So unless you have a background in finance, many small business owners aren't familiar with managing finances and cash flow. It's a challenging aspect of being an entrepreneur, as keeping track of your budget and profitability isn't an easy task. Without the proper knowledge or guidance on how to manage your finances, you run the risk of doing harm to your business's finances. That is so important. That's so true. It's not enough to just make money. There's a lot of different entrepreneurs that I've met with and done consultations with that make money, but their business doesn't grow and they don't have enough money to sustain throughout the year. It's not because they're not making money, but it's because they don't have the money management skills needed to continue to stay afloat. You can have someone that generates less income than someone else, but has more financial stability. And so it's all about being able to manage your finances. It's all about being able to leverage your tools, like leveraging credit. Not saying you're going to use credit all the time, but still implementing the right behavior so that you have that available if you need it. And so again, on my Instagram, BCH credit repairs, I have tips going over that. And then I also have a credit playlist on this channel providing advice based on my experience. I have over 3 years as a loan officer in the financial industry, and I create videos teaching how to leverage your credit and how to build your credit and how to, I even have some videos going over different lenders that will work with work with lower credit scores. So check those out. But that is another obstacle, managing your finances, but it can be done. Like I said, I go over how to do that in my credit playlist. So be sure to check that out, and also on Instagram. So these are some obstacles that were listed by the website practice.do. If you are interested in reading over the article, you can definitely do so. Be sure to leave your experience down below with any of the obstacles. What happened when you went through them? How did you get through the obstacles? What advice do you have for other entrepreneurs? It's really appreciated. I want to thank you all for tuning into the Brittany Bundles podcast.